Hello students, welcome back. So today we are going to do chapter on loops in Python. This is class 7 CBSE. So let's start with loops in Python. Now, but before starting this, students, I would request you go over my previous videos on Python so that you get a basic idea, and then we start off with the loops. I hope in class 6 you must have done that. So let's start with loops in Python. Now, what are loops? Thus, when you have to do something repeatedly, okay, like a program is a set of instruction, right? Now suppose I want computer to execute that same set of instruction again and again, means in a loop. I want it to be executed in a loop. I want repetition of a set of statements. Means I want it to be repeated, the set of statements in my program. So that we do using our looping construct. Or we also call looping as iterative constructs. Okay, so what is basically a loop? Loop is a block of code. So what is loop? Loop is a block of code that we execute multiple times. Okay, so we write our program step by step. We write. Now suppose 4 or 5 steps in between we want to repeat it. Maybe I want that same steps to be run 4 times. Okay, so that is actually a loop when we have to execute a block of code multiple times. That is called a loop. Now in Python, for loop we use 2 statements. One is this for loop, another is while loop. Okay, so in some time we'll understand what is for loop and what is while loop. Okay, now before moving on to this for and while statements, let's try to understand something called sequence. What do we understand by sequence? Okay, now we have already understand in Python, you all know we have every value in Python has a data type. Like data type, if you remember, data type is what we can have: an integer data type, we can have a floating data type where we can have decimals, right? We can have a string data type, like here it's a integer data type, age is equal to 12, price is equal to 34.56, that is your float data type where decimals we put. And when we have any characters, that we call it as string data type, right? Now in all this, if you see, we just have one value in our variable, right? One data type in our variable, right? But suppose if we want a list of values in one variable, okay, then we use this sequence actually. Okay, now suppose here age is equal to 12, so I'm just storing 12 in age. But suppose I want to store the age of 5 people, then I have to use something called list in Python. What is list? It is a sequence of values of mixed data type. Data types can be mixed also, not necessary it has to be all integer or all float or all string. It can be mixed. So list is a sequence of values of mixed data type enclosed in square brackets. Okay, now suppose marks. Now I can just store marks is equal to 78. That means I'm storing 1 marks. But if I want to store marks of 5 students, then I can have it as marks is equal to, in this square bracket, I can have all the marks separated by a comma. Similarly, fruits, whatever, we can have a, see here it is all integer type, here it's all string type, but here you see you have a mixed data type. You have a string also, you have an integer, again a string, again an integer. So in list we can have a mix of data type. Now as we move forward, I'll give you an example and I'll show you how we use this list. Okay, now for using this for loop and the while loop, we have to use this list. Okay, now similar to list, we have something called tuple also. So basically in Python we have 2 sequence type. One is this list, which you have understood, in which we enclose the values in this third bracket. See, you can see this third bracket, right? So that's a list. Now in tuple is also same as your list, but there's some difference that you will understand in higher classes. Right now you can just understand tuple is also a sequence of values of mixed data type separated by comma, same as list, but they are enclosed in round brackets. Like here they are enclosed in this square brackets, but here they are enclosed in round brackets. So for class 7, just understand the difference between list and tuple is both are a sequence of values of mixed data type separated by comma, but list is enclosed in square bracket and tuple it is enclosed in round brackets. I hope I am clear. Now we'll move, after the sequence we'll move on to this range, which is a built-in function of Python, which is very important. And with this range you will understand list also in practical. Okay, now let's move on. Now let's try to understand range function. Very important function, and this is very important for us to understand the for and the while loop also. Okay, now what is range function in Python? It's a built-in function. Okay, you know in Python we have a lot of built-in functions, so range is one of them. So range is a built-in function in Python. Okay, now what is this range function used for? So this is used to generate a sequence of numbers. So we have seen what is sequence like. So if I want to generate some sequence of numbers, then we use range function in Python. Now we'll see how it works. Okay, in range function we can have 3 parameters that we can pass. Okay, 3 parameters is what you can pass. So how do we write range function? Just try to understand that. We have to write range. I'll show you practically also. You have to write range, then in a bracket, this round bracket, you have to mention, you have 3 parameters here: start, stop and step. What is this? Start means, see, start and your step is both are the optional argument. It's not necessary to provide that. If you don't provide any start value, the default value is 0. Means the computer will consider 0 as default and start your list from 0. And step is also again a optional argument. If you don't provide step, the default value is 1. So computer will consider that the step is in the step of 1. Okay, I'll explain you what is step, what is start and stop. Okay, but stop is a required argument. It's a required argument. You have to give stop. Now see, what is start? Start, like suppose I want to generate numbers 1 to 10. Okay, so my starting point is 1. Clear? My end will be 10. So my start will be 1, end will be 10, and I want 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning a step of 1. So my step will be 1. But now suppose I want to generate even numbers 2, 4, 6 like this. So my starting maybe 2 to 10 I want to generate. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So my start will be 2, my stop will be 10, and what will be the step? Just think. Step will be 2 because I want to generate the number in the step of 2, means leave 2, 2, 2, 2 and then you go. Let's try to see few of these examples, then I'll show you practically how it works. Okay. Okay, now see, range 5, only 5 is written. Now I showed you up key, we have 3 arguments in range, but start and step is optional. You may or you may not give. If you don't give, so see here 5 specifies stop only. We have not given start and stop, step. So what start will be taken? Start will be taken as 0. Default is 0 as I told you, right? And step, since step is also not given, so step will be default 1. So it is 0 to 5. So range 5 means what does, I'll just show you here. Yeah, see. So if I write range 5 only, that means this 5 is my stop value. And what is my start value, which is the default value, which is 0. Stop is 5, and step, again I have not provided the step, so default it will take as 1. So here see, it is start 0, from 0 you start till 5 you go, okay, and in the step of 1. So here if you see, it will start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the step of 1 it is going. Now you will ask me, ma'am, why 5 is not here? Then I forgot to mention you. Remember, the stop value is not included in the sequence. So whatever stop value you give, it will consider 1 minus this. So if I want to print till 5, I have to give you a stop as 6. Remember this. I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention. So if I want to generate 1 to 10 number, I have to give the stop as 11. Then it will print 1 till 10. Okay, it's always the stop value is not included in the sequence. So it's always 1 less. Okay. Now let's come to the other example. See, range 1, 10. So here I have given the start value, I have given the stop value, and the step I have not given, so they will consider step as default. So from 1 to 10 in the step of 1. So 10 will not be included, as I said. So it's 1 to 9. So 1 till 9 it will print. Clear? Now let us see this third example. So here all the 3 parameters are given. Start is 10, stop is 21 in the step of 2. So 10 till 20 it will go, right? And in step of 2. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Clear? Now let's try to see the last example. 10, all 3 again given. Now start from 10 till 0. 0 means it will go till 1 less, means till 1 it will go, right? In the step of minus 3 means it will go backward, minus, it will do minus. So 10, then minus 3 of 10 it will be 7, minus 3 of 7 will be 4, minus 3 of 4 will be 1. Is this example clear, students? It's very important, very simple. See, you start at 10, go till 0, but it is in the step of minus 3. See, if you give 3 here, then the computer will throw you an error, because you cannot start at 10 and go to 0 with the step of plus 3, right? Clear? Now minus 3 means it will subtract minus 3 with each number. See, 10 first number, it will subtract minus 3, you get 7. Again from 7 I subtract minus 3, I get 4. Like this we go. Clear? I hope it's clear. Range. Now I'll show you practically. Now I'll just show you in Python how we can. So we can use this range function with our list. Okay. Now let me just open this. Now suppose I want to maybe I want to print all the odd numbers starting from 3 to 18 maybe. So how will I write? I have to write, see, only range if you write it will not work, right? So in list you have to write. So list in bracket range. See. Then range, I want to start from 3. I want to go till 18 maybe, and in the step of, I want all the odd numbers, or maybe in the step of 4 I want to. I'll give 4. So tell me what numbers it will print. It will start from 3 till 17 it will go. So first it will print 3, then plus 4, 7, then plus 4, 11, then 6, 3, 7, 11, 14. So it starts from 3, goes till 17, and in the step of 4. See, after 15 plus 4 it will become 19. So that is out of my stop range. So it will not print here. Is it clear? Similarly, let me see a 1 minus 1 list range. Suppose I want to start from 8 and I want to go till maybe minus 3, and in the step of minus 2 maybe. See, it will print 8 first, then from 8 do a minus 2, it will be 6. From 6 to a minus 2, it will be 4, then minus 2 till minus 2, because now minus 2 it will be minus 4. So that is out of my end range, it will not print. Now is it clear? Now see, this comes as a list. You see, list always comes in square brackets, as I told you, right? So this is my list. Okay, and we use range to generate this list of numbers. Is it clear, student? The list and range. Okay, range we use to generate a list of numbers or a sequence of numbers. So this is a number we generated. Now we will see how we use this to in our programming language to repeat our steps. Okay, now we'll see how we use in for loop all these stuffs. Clear till here? And yeah, one more very important thing, we cannot, the step value cannot be 0. Then a computer will throw you an error, and it's very natural, right? If you give 0, I mean, there's no, I mean, how can it be? I will write 1 to 10 as the start as 1 and end as 10 and step 0. What does that mean? Step 0 it will not, right? So step value in the range function can be either positive or negative, but it cannot be 0, which is very important, right? And you understand why it cannot be 0, because there is no step, right? 0, what will you increase or decrease, right? Clear? Okay, students, now let's move on to this for. Okay, now let's try to understand for loop. It's very simple if you understand. There's no complications. Very, very simple. But you have to understand. If you understand, it becomes very simple. It's a cakewalk. Okay, now we use for loop to repeat a block of statements in our program. Like suppose one statement, maybe like you want to print your name 10 times on the screen. So you will not write print your name. You will not have print statement 10 times written in the program, right? That's not feasible, and that's not a good way of writing program, right? So in that case, I'll use a for loop where I'll have just one print statement, print my name, and I'll try to execute that same statement, print my name 10 times using for loops. Okay, now let's try to understand how we do, and let's try to first see the syntax of for loop. What is the syntax? Okay, now see, before this, let me try to give you a very simple example. Now suppose, let me just remove this, or maybe I'll open one. Now suppose I want to print my name on the screen 5 times. So I'll write print Priyanka. This way I have to copy it 10 times, 5 times, right? 5 times if I want to write, right? Let me just save it as. So let me save, I saved it. Now let me just run. Now when I run this, you will see my name printed 5 times, right? But see, what is the disadvantage? I have to write this same statement 5 times in my program, right? That's bad. I shouldn't use it this way. Now I just want to have this printed 5 times. How do I do that? Then we use for loop. Okay, now let's try to go back to your book first and try to understand the syntax of for. Then I'll show you how we can convert this program using for loop. Okay, now see, for loop, in for, this is a statement, for control war in sequence. See, don't go, this is a big statement that they have written. So see, just see this first example, for I, so control variable, this is your I. Okay, I, it is actually, it's a variable, okay, that takes value from a sequence. Okay, it's a variable that takes value from some list or a sequence. Okay, so for I is your any variable you can put here which take from the sequence. In you have to write the for I in number. Now number is your list. Okay, okay, now here, like suppose this name, what I am doing, Priyanka, I want it 5 times, so my number will be 5 here, right? So it will be for I to, from I, starting from 1 to 5, I have to start off, right? Clear? So here, how will I write? Here, if I want to change this, how will I write? So here my number will be 1, 2, 4, 5. Sorry. Okay. Now for I in number. Okay. See, and I have to. So I have commented this out. Okay, now I'll write. So I want this name to be displayed 5 times. So my list will be 1 to 5. So for I in number, I'll just write, and this is indented, okay, for, sorry, and there has to be a colon. Remember this, student, the syntax. So for and in, this you have to write, and I is a variable that you take, and number will be your list. Okay, so for I in number, print Priyanka. Okay, so just see. So first, what will be the, so I in number I am saying. So first value of I will be 1, and it will go inside this loop. It will print Priyanka. Again, it will see the another number for I is 2. So it will, this loop will go till number, all the values in number expire. It will go on and on. Okay. Then again, I is 2, it will come and print Priyanka again. Now again number, this list is not complete. So now it will take I as 3, it will print Priyanka again. Now 4, then 5. So till that time it will print. Clear? Now let me just try to run and show you. I'll say run. See, it printed 5 times Priyanka. See, this is so simple. See, if 5 times you can write, suppose I want to print this 100 times, right? So then this, see, now instead of so many lines, it's just this line I have done this. Clear? Now here, instead of Priyanka, if I want to print I, what is I? I is taking values one by one from this number, from this list, right? So if I save this and run this, see, just compare. So first I value is 1, then I value becomes 2, then I value becomes 3, 4 and 5, and it print as it is. Similarly, you can have a different numbers here also, right? Instead of, maybe I have 4 first, I can have 8, maybe 7. Now see, if I save, it will print as it is, numbers. See, 4, 8, 7, 4, 5. So first my I value is 4, then it takes 8 and it prints, then it again goes up, it will, I is now 7. So till this list is completed, this 2 lines will keep on executing. Okay, so whatever is inside this for loop, it keeps on running till your this, all the numbers in your list complete. Similarly, see, instead of print I can give then print Priyanka also. So see what it will do. First I is 4, it will take 4, right? So it will come inside this loop, it will print I, it will print 4, it will print Priyanka. Again it will go back, now I becomes 8, it will print 8, again print Priyanka, again go back, I becomes 7. See, I run and I'll show you. See, did you see how it came? See, all the statements under for will keep on executing that many times. So first my I value was 4 from here, it printed 4 and it printed 4 here, and then it printed Priyanka, right? Again it went back because the list has not expired, number did not complete, right? Now I became 8, the second value. So it will print 8, it will again print Priyanka because I have given the second statement. Now it will again go up, now I becomes 7, it 7, again it will print here 7 and here it will print Priyanka, again see, again it goes up 4 and 5 like this. Is it clear, guys? This is a very basic, please try to understand, then your any program with for loop becomes very easy for you. So all the statements under your for loop will keep on executing till this list completes. Clear? Now let's try to understand some of the example from your book. So this example I already gave. See, number is 45, 50, but just see the syntax, students. The syntax for is for I is your control, where if you try to match it, control variable, which is what? Which is nothing. It takes value from the sequence range one by one. As we saw, it will take the value from the list one by one, correct? In you have to write, and then the sequence or the range, then the number. Instead of number, you can have any variable name, maybe B also. So it can be for I in B. It will work the same way. Okay. So this is your sequence or the range, means a list of values, the collection of values. See, and here inside this, and then a colon is very important. And then inside this, you have the statement that you want to execute all over again and again. Clear? Now let's try to see some of the examples. So this we already covered. So number has been specified as this 4 numbers. So for I in number, print I. So it will print 45, then 56, then 12, then 98. So 4 times this loop will go. 4 times this statement is been executed. Now see the second. Here I want to print each letter of the word. So I have specified maybe country as India. So for letter in country, print letter. So first letter it will take I, it will print I. Then it will go up, second letter is N, again it will print N. Again go up, again take D, print D. Like this all the letters will be printed. Clear? Now see third example. Here it's the same as I told you. Now see the printing of my name. I gave you a little different way of writing my name, right? I gave it in the range, but here we can use range also. Let's try to understand this. Okay students, now we'll try to understand how with for loop we can use this range function. Okay, till now we have just normally taken the list, right? Now we'll try to use this range, which is the built-in function, and see how we can use it I. Okay, so now here see we have written number separately. Instead of that we could have taken in range also. Now see, I have to print my name 5 times. Okay, I have to print, I have to print my name 5 times. So instead of doing it this way, what I can do, I can just write for I in range 1, start is 1, and 5 times I have to go. So I cannot give 5, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. I said stop value, say less, right? So I will give 6 here. In the step of 1 it will go, right? So for I in range 1 to 6. So my this I will go from 1 till 5 it will go, right? And it will print my name, right? Well, let me just save and show you how it works. See, same output, I can do it this way also. Clear? This is very important, how to use range with I. Now suppose I want to print, now suppose you want to print even numbers. Okay, maybe till 100 I want to print all the even number, maybe till 50. So how will I do? My range will start from 2, it will go till 51 in the step of 2, right? And I'll print I. So I will be all, now I am removing my name, I don't want to print the name. Okay, so I want all the even numbers to be printed till 50. So my range will be how? It starts from 2 till 51, 1 less, right? In the step of 2, and I'll print I. So I will be first 2, then I will become 4, then I will become 6, right? It will go on like this. Now let me just save and see if it works. See, did you see, students? So all even numbers from 2 to 50 I got it. Just 2 lines I have to use and I can get all the list. Is it clear how to use range with your for loop? Clear? We'll see more examples and it will be more clear. So I hope it's clear how we use range function with I. Now in the same way, if I want to have odd numbers, maybe starting from 1 till 51, that is again in the step of 2, right? So save, again you run, you will see you will get all the odd numbers. Till 49 it turned up, right? Because 51 it will not consider 1 less. Remember that, huh? Don't forget. Now let's see the examples from your book. So see here, I want to print this Python programs 5 times. So for I in range of 1 to 6 you print. So this statement will be executed 5 times because range will be 1 till 5, correct? Now see here, program to display the squares of first 5 natural number. So let's try to write on our own. We are not seeing. So you have to display first 5 natural numbers ka you have to display the square of that first 5 natural numbers. Okay, clear? So how I can write first 5, so 1 to 6 I'll take, and here square means I into I can write. Simple, right? So my range will be 1 to 5 and every time I'll do a square and I print. So file save. If I run, so see I got the square of the first 5 natural number, right? So this is one way. There is another way to write it. See how it is given in your here. So instead of writing this way, we can write it this way also. See here they have first initialized n is equal to 5 and then they have taken 1 till n plus 1. So this n you can have it inputted from your end user also, from your user, like whoever is using your program. You can maybe have a enter the number till where, enter the natural number till where you want that. Okay, so if we input in n, then you can have it n plus 1 instead of writing the 5. Clear? Now let's see the other. See, that's what I said here. See, they have given in hint also. Like suppose if you want input, enter the value of n. So you can have it in n and then you want me to write this and show it to you? Let's try to write. Okay. So suppose I want to print the square of natural numbers till where my user input it. Okay. So I have to input the number. So maybe I'll write num is equal to integer type input, enter the value, enter the number till where square should be displayed, right? Clear? So this input I am taking. Okay, so then this I will range from 1 till that number, right? So num plus 1, always give plus 1. Why I am giving plus 1? Because you know the n will be always less than that. If I give num, it will not consider num till num, right? Then print in. Now let's save it and see how it works. Now here see, it asked me. So suppose I want the square of first 3 natural number. So see, I got first 3. Now if I run it again and I want for 10, so it will display me for 10. So now here see what happened in the first program that we wrote. First program, let me just write maybe. So yeah, so first my was like this. So yeah, so here if you see, I have hard coded this 6. I gave 6, so this will only go till 5 times, right? But here what we are doing, we are not limiting till where we want. We are asking user only to input that number and my loop will go till that number. So see here, when I printed this, it went 5 times only because I have given till that number only. But in the second program, if you see, first my user entered 3. So this loop ran for 3 times because it will become 3 plus 4 means 3 plus 1, 4. So my range will be 1 till 4. And second, my user gave 10. So it will become 1, 11. Correct? So my range will be 1 till 11. So 10 times this will run. So this is where I have limited only 5 times. This I am giving my user the option to input the number and I can run my for loop as many times as my user input. Is this clear, guys? Like instead of just mentioning 6, I am mentioning whatever the number user is giving, till that number the range should go. Is it clear, right? If you have any doubt, please comment. I'll try to clarify that. Okay. Now let's try to see another example that is given. Now see here, program to display the table of a number. So you want to display a table of a number. So here again, let's try to have the number input from the user only. It will the same program we can write. So number enter the number whose table. Okay, so enter the number whose table should be displayed. So whatever it enters, now what I have to do, see number, suppose user enters the number as 8. Okay, so he wants a 8 ka table, right? So what it will be, 8 into 1 I have to do, then 8 into 2 I have to, 8 into 3 till 10 will show. Okay, so here my range will be what? Just think, it has nothing to do with num, right? Num to we just have to multiply, right? So I want the table from 1 to 10, right? Means 8 into 1, 8 into 2, 8 until 8 into 10. So 10 times I want. So my range will be 1 till 11. And here what will I print? Just think, students, what I have to print? I have to print whatever table the user want to display 8, right? 8 ka table. So it will be, acha, first let me just comment out, forget about this, huh? Let's try to I'll comment out all this also. So just bear with me, let me just comment out. Okay, now suppose I want to display 8 ka table. So here my till 10, 8 into 10, 80 I want to display. So here it will be 8 into I. Let me just save and run, see what it comes. See, 8 2 ja, 8 3 ja, 8 4 ja till 8 10 ja. How it worked? See, first here my range I gave 1 till 10, right? 1 till 11 means 1 till 10 it will be. So I is 1 first. So here what it will do? 8 into 1 it will do and print that. Now second I will become 2. So here 8 into 2 will be printed. Now third I will become 3. So it will be 8 into 3. Clear? So till 10 it will go, it will print 8 into 10. Clear? Now here 8 I have fixed this number. Okay, I want the table of 8 only. But now suppose you want user to enter that number. Okay, he wants a table of 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 or 20 maybe, whatever. Then see, then I will have this input statement where I'm asking user to enter a number whose table you want. So user will enter and that will be stored in num. Now what change I have to do here? Just instead of 8 I'll put here num into I. Is it clear? See, from very basic I'm trying to explain you. So when I was putting 8, that means only 8 ka table was getting displayed. Now I have just changed this from 8 to num. So whatever be the value of num, that into I is happening every time. So now whatever table user want, it will be displaying that. So let's save and run. It will ask me first, right? Suppose I want the table of 9. So all the 9 ka table it display. Now let me run again. Now suppose I want the table of 17. It will display 17 ka table. Did you get the difference from here to this too? Here 8 I hard coded. I wanted only for 8. So my program will work only for 8 ka table. But now in this too, my program can work for any number. Whatever number user enter, that for that it will work. So here I just change that 8 to num. Clear? Now see, I can have it display it better. Now I want to show, like suppose I want to show it like it, the output should be like this: 8 into 1 equal to 8. 8 into 2 is equal to 16. I want the output, instead of just the number, I want it to be displayed this way. So how can I do that? Tell me. How can I do that? In print statement only. So print first will be my num, right? So print num into I. Clear? Excuse me. So first will be my, just a minute. Okay, so first I want to display num, comma, then I want to display an into sign that should come within double quote, if you remember. So whatever you write within double quote, you know that in print that will come as it is. So first my num will come, then an into sign, then I, the value of I should come, then equal to should come. Clear? And then the value should come. Then it should be num into I. Let me just save and try to run and see how it works. Enter the number, maybe 17. See, 17 into 1, 17 into 2. Now, how did this display change? Because of this. I hope this statement you got it, how we change the display. So here, see, you know, in print we can have multiple prints with a comma, right? So if you give a variable, it will print the value. So I gave num, so it printed num is 17, right? Then I gave this within double quotes, so that means it will print as it is, so it print it into. Then I gave I, so I is becoming 1. First time it will print 1, second time it will be 2. So whatever be the value of I, it is printing that. Then it will print an equal to, again within double quotes, so it print as it is. Then my num into I, which is the final value I want, so I gave num into I. I hope this statement is clear, right? Clear? Now let's move on to other examples. So we have few more examples. Now let's try to see other examples from your book. Now see here, program to display the sum of even numbers between 1 to 100. Now they want us to write a program where we want to display the sum of even numbers from 1 till 100. So we have 2, it should be how? It will be 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10, like this till 100. This entire sum we have to display. How do we do that? Okay. Now let's try to go one by one. Okay. So first, suppose I want to just print the even numbers from 1 to 100. So how do you do that? That I told you already. For I in range will be my 1 comma even number. So range will be from 2 till 101 I'll take, right? Sorry. And in the step of 2, correct? Print I. So this will just give me the list of all even numbers. All even numbers. It gave me the list of all even numbers from 2 till 100, correct? Now I don't want the list. I want the sum of this. So how do we do that? Now see. So see, first if you see this output, so first your I value, say print I am, so first I value was 2, second I value was 4, third I value was 6, then 8. So I just need to keep on adding the I value. Try to understand, right? So here if I do, suppose I take a variable, okay, maybe sum, okay, and you have to assign some value. Sum is equal to 0 I'll give. Okay, now here if I do sum is equal to sum plus I, what it is doing, try to understand. First initial my sum was 0 I gave, now it's entered the loop. Okay, here I became 2 first, so here sum will change to sum plus I, that means 0 plus 2, that means now my sum becomes 2. Now when it goes up, now when I ka value is 4 now, right? The second iteration, okay? So in first iteration, let me just write here and show it to you. So in iteration 1, when I is equal to 2, my sum becomes sum plus I, which is equal to 0 plus 2, which becomes 2. So my sum becomes 2 here, right? Sorry. Yeah. So in iteration 1, means first iteration, my I will be 2 and my sum will be what? Sum is equal to sum plus I, correct? So it will be 0 because sum we have explained as 0. So 0 plus 2, it will become 2. Now when it goes up, when this goes up, now my I becomes iteration 2, my I becomes 4. Is it clear? I becomes 4 now. Now sum is equal to sum plus I. What will this be, tell me? Here my sum is, see, it did not go to this line again. This is only one time. Now here my sum is this sum, which is 2. So here it will become 2 plus I means 4. Clear? So see, I'm keep on adding. Now in my iteration 3, I will be now 6, correct? Sum is equal to sum plus I will become what? My sum will be from here, it will take in the up iteration, which is 6. So it will be 6 plus 6 again, right? So see, every time I'm keep on adding. So that basically it became 2 plus 4 plus 6. Now in fourth iteration it will become 2 plus 4 plus I again, which will be 8. So like this it will keep on adding till 100 and I'll get my sum value. And finally I'll just print sum. It will give me the total value. Let's see. Save. Let me save. And see, this print is outside this loop because this print I have to just give once at the end. If you give it every time, then every time you will get that sum, right? Different. I'll show you that also. Now let me just see. It gave me the total sum of all this. But did you understand how it worked and how? See, first I will become 2. So my sum will become 0 plus 2, which is 2. Now it will again go up. Now here I will become 4. So my sum will become, last cut 2 it was, so 2 plus 4. Again it will go up. I becomes 6. So it will, sum is now 2 plus 4 was there. So 2 plus 4 plus 6 now. Again it will go up. My I is now 8. So it will be 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 now. So like this till 100 it will go and keep on summing in this variable. And so finally I'll print sum. Clear? But see, if I put this print sum inside this for loop only. So see, after every step it will give me a print. So that is wrong. See how it works. First sum will be 2, right? It will be 0 plus 2. Then it will be, when I becomes 4, it will be 2 plus 2. It will be 6. 2 plus 4, which is 6. Right? Then it will be 6 plus 6, 12. Then 12 plus 12 plus 8. Like this, it will go, it's showing me all, right? Finally, the final sum, right? So that's why this print will not come here. Okay? It will be outside the for loop. Is it clear? I hope it's clear, and do comment if you do not understand anything. The same thing they have written. Okay? Now, another program to take in 5 numbers from the user. So we have to take 5 numbers from user only and display the count of even numbers entered by him. So user will give us 5 numbers and we have to check whether the number is an even number or an odd number. If it's an even number, we'll keep on give the count. Okay, out of 5, 3 was even number. Okay, so just see the program here. So again the same thing. So see, I have to input 5 numbers from user. So I'll put this in the loop again, because one by one I'll enter the number and I'll check whether it is whether it is an even number and odd number, right? Okay. So see here, for I 1 to 5 I am taking in the range. So first in num I'll enter the first number from the user. Enter a number. So user has entered the first number. Okay. Now I will check. See, this all will come inside my for loop only. This statement. These 3 statements will execute for each iteration of I. Okay. Now let me just write this program also. So see, I've just written this program. Let's try to understand this. Okay. So I want to input 5 numbers from user. Okay. And then I have to check whether it is an even number. Even number means when I divide it with 2, the remainder should be 0. If it is remainder is 0, that means it's an even number. Correct. So now what we are doing, I'll start my for loop in the range of 1 till 5. Right. First statement of my for loop, it will ask user to enter a number. Okay, in num I am storing that. Now I'll do, if you remember this mod sign we used to find the remainder. So if I do num mod 2 means it will give me the remainder. So if I divide the number with 2, if the remainder is 0, see this, if you remember students, this mod sign in Python, it is used to find the remainder. Okay. So when I divide by num with 2, if the remainder is 0, means remainder 0 means it is an even number, correct? Then what will I do? I'll just increase my count, because we have to give the count of even numbers, right? So my count, initially I took 0, so I'll just increase the count. So it becomes 0 plus 1. So suppose the number I entered, okay, it is 42. So 42 mod 2 will give me 0 only because it is divisible by 2. So here my count will become 1 now. 0 plus 1, 1. Now second time again it will go I is equal to 2 now, right? Again I'll enter a number. Now suppose this time my user entered 49. Okay. Now 49 mod 2 will not give me 0. Remainder will be there, right? So my cursor will not come to this. Now my count still remains 1. Correct? Now it will again go up. Now I is 3. Now again I'll enter a number. I'll ask user to enter number. Now suppose this time user enter an even number, maybe a 52. Now when computer do 52 mod 2, it will give 0, right? So it will come to this line. Now my count was 1 from before. Now it will be 1 plus 1, 2. Now the count becomes 2 here. Correct? Now it will again go up. Now I will be 4. Again user will enter a number. Suppose he enter the even number again. So suppose it enter 56. Now again 56 mod 2 is 0. So again my count will become 2 plus 1, 3. Correct? Now again it will go up because still the list is not complete. Now the last I will be 5. Again it will enter. Now this time suppose it's an odd number I enter. Now again this will be false. So it computer will not execute this statement. My count still remains 3 only. Now this entire, all the list completed. Now it will come out of this loop and print the total number of even numbers count. Clear? Remember students, whatever we give, see this is an indented. So for ke andar whatever is been indented, that line is executed again and again for each iteration. Okay. And what is not indented with it, that is executed after that loop. Okay. Now let's try to run and see how it works. First save it. Now let's run. See, it will ask me to enter a number. Okay. Now suppose I enter 67. It was not an odd. It was an odd number. Now I enter an even number. Again I enter an even number. I entered an odd number. Entered an even number. Maybe 6. Now see, my total count of even number is 3. Correct? Now how it works? Just see. First I entered 67. Correct? So in this line I enter 67 for iteration 1, I1. 67 mod 2 is not 0, right? So my count still remains 0 only. Same. It did not come to this line. Now it will go up. Now I is 2 here. Again I enter a number which is 88. Now it will check. Now this is satisfying, right? It is true. So my count here becomes 0 plus 1, 1. The count becomes 1 here, correct? Now it will again go up for I is equal to 3. Now again a number, so I entered 44. Again this condition satisfied, so it will come to this line. So here count was 1, now it become 1 plus 1, which is 2. Now count becomes 2 here. Now it will again go up for I is equal to 4. I enter the number which is 99. Now this condition is false here, so it will not come to this line. Count still remains 2. It will go up again. Now I is 5, the last iteration. Here I again entered 6, so this again stands true, so it will come to this line. Now my count was 2, so it will be 2 plus 1, 3. Now this entire list completed, but it will come out of this loop and print this. Is it clear, students? I hope it be clear, right? Now let's try to understand one more example. I think you have I think that was the last example. So you can see this program also. Okay, now let's try to quickly understand this program from your book. Okay, I have just copied this program. Okay, so it's the same program what is written here. So low, we are inputting one lower limit, we are inputting one higher limit, and then for I will range from your low till your upper. Okay, so whatever low limit I have given, suppose I give 4 and a higher limit is 10, suppose I give, user gives, right? So it will be 4 till 11 it will go, and each I ka value, so first your I will be 4 here, suppose. Now let me see, I have run this, I'll show you how. Now see, here the lower limit I gave 4, higher limit is 10. Okay, so my range will be 4 till 11. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 it will go, right? So first I is 4. Okay, so it will 4 mod 2 which is equal to 0, right? The remainder. If it is not equal to 0, then we are printing something. If it is equal to 0, we'll not do this, again go up. So here 4 was the first limit, so it will not print anything, correct? Now my second I is 5 now, right? Because 4 till 11 it will go at the step of 1. So now 5. So 5 mod 2 is not 0, right? So this statement satisfy, right? So it will come to this print I is my 5. So see, 5 is printed, correct? Clear? I is printed. And we don't need this, I can have it removed. I, and with a comma I'll just print it. Okay, so okay, let me just give you a lower limit 4, 10, so 5, 7, 9. Okay, so this way printed. Now see, so here basically from the limit that you are taking from the user, so what is this program doing? It is checking all the odd numbers and inputting and outputting that, correct? So from range 4 till 10 it will check if it's an odd number. Odd number means it will your mod 2 will not be equal to 0, then it will print that number. Clear? So here they are saying find the output when low is 1 till 20. So in 1 till 20 what will be the output? So when it is 1 it will print 1, then 3, then 5, right? Now let's try to run this and see if I put 1 and 10. 1 upper limit was 20, right? Yeah, so upper limit 20. So see, it will print 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. Clear? Similarly for this 11 till 30 it will print all the odd numbers, correct? So is this program clear? Now let's try to understand this another program. Here see, again low, you are entering a lower limit, we are entering an upper limit, correct? Now I count 0 I gave, then I gave for I in the range low to upper. Okay, so whatever limit I gave from there. So if I mod 2 not equal to 0, again the same thing I am doing, I am checking. So I mod 2 not equal to 0 means I am checking for all the odd numbers, correct? So if it is an odd number from in this range, if any odd number comes where I is an odd number, then I am increasing my count and finally I give. So all the odd numbers are been count. So if I give lowest 1 till 10, upper is 10, so it will go from 1 till 11. So all the even odd numbers between this I will have a count. So 1, 3, so it will be 1 till 11. So I will be 1 first. So 1 mod 2 will not be 0. So count will increase by 1. Now in the second iteration I becomes 2. So 2 mod 2 is 0. So it will, the count still remains the same. It will not come to this line. Third iteration I becomes 3 mod 2 will be, so count becomes 2. So like this it will keep on counting till 10. So it will be for 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, 5. The count will be 5. So here the first answer will be 5. And if you go from 10 till 16, so it will be for 11, 13 and 15, 3. The count will be 3. Clear? Now there is a program where I can write a program to accept a string and display it as many times as user wants. Very simple. See, we already wrote a program where we were displaying the name that many times, right? Correct? But now suppose if you have to input the string from the user. So very simple. Can we do this quickly? Let me just remove all this, okay? So I have to input a string from the user, right? So maybe I'll just write name. Okay, name is equal to, so it's a string that I have just so it will be name input any string that you want to print repeated. Okay, so I just input any string from the user. Okay. Okay, so here I'll input any string that user wants to print repeatedly. Okay, now I have to ask how many times he wants, right? That also, because it's written display it as many times as user wants. So that is also in my input. So num integer type, how many times to print. Clear? Now I have to start my for loop. For I in range 1 till num plus 1. Clear? Right? So I have to start from 1 till it will go how many times? Plus 1. Correct? Print. I have to print name. Simple, right? Let me just, so here what is happening? I am inputting the name from the user. I am inputting how many times he wants to print. So I have to run my loop that many times, right? So my range will be from num till num plus, from 1 till num plus 1. Why num plus 1? You know, stop. It will be always minus 1, right? So till num plus 1 I will repeat, and that many times print my name, correct? So let's run and see how it works. So first it will ask me any string that you want to print repeatedly. So suppose I want to print my name only. I like Priyanka. How many times I want? Suppose I want 3 times. So see, 3 times it. Is it clear? Very, very simple program. Nothing. 2 inputs you have to take from user and then range, and this you have to decide accordingly. Okay. Now let's try to understand this last program, which is write a program to display all numbers divisible by 5 between 1 to 50. So I have to print all numbers which are divisible by 5 in 1 to 50. So how do we do that? Let's try to comment this out. Okay. So for I, so from 1 till 50 my range is, it's specified here, right? So for I in range 1 to 51, correct? I have to find out first whether it is divisible by 5 or not, right? So what I have to do, if I mod function, you know, gives me the remainder. If this is equal to 0 means it is divisible by 5, right? If this is the case, if it is divisible by 5, then I print I, means this number is divisible 5. If it is not, I'll go up. Then I'll go up and check for another number, right? Simple program. Now let me just save and run it. This I missed something. Oh yeah, so print I. Okay, now let me just save and run. So see, it gave me all the numbers between 1 to 51 divisible by 5. Very simple. First, I just go iteration wise. First, my I will be 1, right? Because it starts from 1. So 1 mod 5, this does not satisfy, so print will not be there. Now for 2, again, this does not satisfy. Like this 3, 4, it doesn't satisfy. Now for 5, when I is 5, 5 mod 5 is 0, so it will print 5. Again it goes up, now I becomes 6. So till this, then again when I comes to 10, this satisfied prints. Again for 11, this does not satisfy, right? So it will not print. So this simple program and you have it. Okay. So this ends our for loop and I hope you all have understood. Next we'll do while loop in another video. Okay. Thank you.